Welcome everybody. I'm your host, Jay Grimes, and I'm here for a very special interview. We have Sergio Farfan here. He's a local Chicago artist, and he's about to tell us a little bit about himself, some of the processes he takes to make his art and create the things that he does. So I'm excited to hear from him. Talk to me a little bit about what you do. What do you call yourself? You a painter? You a creative?
I mean, just an artist, I guess.
Yeah.
I do paint, I do mix media and all that, but just an artist.
Yeah, man. So, how many types of mediums do you work with?
Well, I try to use everything. I mean, I don't do sculptures or anything like that, but like when it comes to canvas or like flat surfaces, I do acrylic, oil, spray can, pencil, graphite, just anything I have in the studio. Like,
amazing.
I try to use it, yeah.
Yeah. So it's mostly visual work that you work with, and
Right.
And how did you get into it?
I mean, I've been drawing since I was a little kid, ever since I can remember. I'm from Peru, so when I was in Peru, I remember just like drawing every day, like just my favorite cartoons, like what I saw on TV and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then, when I got here to the U.S. in 2003, I didn't know the language here. Like, I just knew Spanish. So when I got here, like going to school was a bit hard because I didn't know how to communicate. I kind of used drawing, my method of communicating with like my peers, like with the kids and all that. I like to make friends. Like, I remember just being in the desk in my school, and I would just draw my little cartoons and whatnot.
Yeah.
And like people would just come over like, oh, what you're drawing, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
there you go. Like, I was just smiling at them because I didn't know how to communicate. So they just became my friends and then invite me to like to recess and play and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, drawing, I mean, art has always been there for me since like a little kid, up till now, obviously.
Yeah. Man, that's the most appropriate, reason to start making art.
Yeah.
So you can communicate
right.
a little bit better. So nowadays, is it something that, you feel propelled to make? Like, you have to create these things, you have to put them in the world, or are you still just communicating your message to people?
I have like a need of painting now. Like,
Yeah.
I just, whatever I'm thinking, whatever I see that I feel like I need to take out, and show it to the world. Yeah, I put it out there. I go to the studio and just like grab a canvas, or go buy a canvas and just go off on it, whatever I feel. Or sometimes too, like, now there's technology nowadays with the iPad, like I'm starting to use that a lot right away. Like, I would just sketch out my ideas and like see like what I see will work best in the canvas.
Yeah.
So that's like one of my tools now that I'm starting to use too. So yeah.
You sort of told us a little bit about how you began drawing cartoons, your favorite cartoons.
Cartoons, yeah, for sure.
Talk to me a little bit about that. I saw some of the work, and
Yeah.
it seems like maybe that continues to this day, but it's evolved a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely evolved. I remember when not so long ago either, but that's how I started, just up until now. Like, I would just like draw my favorite cartoons and like, kind of like, it shows like, this is where my art started from, Like, if it wasn't for these cartoons, I would probably not become an artist, Like, I would just like mimic the stuff I see on TV. And I actually had a solo show called TV Heads based on like all the cartoons I used to watch, and like I would check out my sketches when I was a little kid. And I'm like, oh, I drew bugs. Let's draw bugs on my new painting. Like back in 2016, it was the solo show. So the cartoons reflect a lot of my work. But now I started to do my own cartoons. I call them Cans characters, and they're just based off like my emotions of at that time I'm drawing the character. So, like, say if I'm mad or I'm happy or anything, like when I'm sketching out the character, I make sure I really express emotions on his face. Yeah, basically on his face or the way he looks. Yeah, so I'm trying to do my own characters too now.
Throughout the interview, we've been talking about childhood and growing up in the world. I think that relates nicely to this one. What's this one called?
So this piece is called When I Grow Up, and it's basically a piece where I try showing of like, every kid has like this, something to look up to. Like, for me it was like, I guess not Batman, but I like reflected that to Batman, like in this painting on like life, you're always looking up to someone. And like, for me, kind of like Batman symbolized like bravery in a way, like He's strong as hell and like just does whatever like he does for his city and whatever. And yeah, this piece reflects. That's why I put Chicago right here.
Yeah.
Like hopefully one day I'll be that artist that kid gets inspired from.
Yeah.
Like right here, I did a little writing. So all my writing, I write everything backwards, and it says God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers.
Wow.
So that's this piece.
You always write backwards?
Yeah, all my stuff.
Wow.
Everything. I mean, so the thing is, the writing backward thing is, when I was little in kindergarten, like, I don't know if because I'm lefty, but when I started writing, I just wrote from right to left, like, and backwards too. The letters were backwards.
Yeah, you're not trying to smear the ink on your hand.
Yeah, exactly. But when the teacher's like, no, you don't write that way. You write from right to left. I'm like, okay. Well, then I had to learn how to write the regular way. But that's how I write, so I put that on my paintings.
Kept it going?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Why not?
What kind of materials are you using here?
This has acrylic and graphite only, and ink.
So now where's your work at? Like what direction you think it's headed? Is it moving in a different direction? Like what's your vision for it? Where you at right now?
I have so many ideas of like different series I want to create, like kind of like different styles, but not really. Like you'll still it'll look like a Farfan,
Yeah.
But I have so many ideas I want to put out. Right now I have, for example, this series called My Beautiful Chaos. Then the normal stuff that I usually do, which is like just going crazy on the canvas, doing my cartoons and whatnot, is like way more clean, and it's just like not as colorful as like the stuff that I do. It's just black, and then the colors I'm usually using is red, blue, and yellow. So, and that's it. And it's like those black outlines just kind of look chaotic. That's why I named it My Beautiful Chaos. But yeah, it's a different vibe to my work. Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the things that are inspiring your work, in terms of what you're drawing from around you in order to create your work.
So I had like a lot of anxiety. I still do, but I'm like controlling it a little bit now. A lot of my work is based off like human emotions, like anxiety, depression. Not just me personally too. It's like sometimes if I see someone that I'm close with, or that I feel like I could transfer the emotions in my paintings, like I use that too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just try to do what everyone's feeling, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have people that you look up to that
Oh, for sure.
that help you, sort of guide you in terms of like a template for what you're doing. And
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough when I first started my career as an artist. Shepherd Ferry had a mural going on in Chicago in downtown, and I was like, Shepherd Ferry is like one of my favorite artists in the art world, and I just saw he was doing that mural, and like I've never seen a Shepherd Ferry mural in my life. So I saw he was in Chicago. I'm like, dude, I have to go see this,
Yeah.
I specifically just went for the mural. Like, I did not know Shepherd was gonna be there, because I saw the mural was finished already. So I'm like, all right, dope. Like, I'm just gonna take pictures of it, and like see it. But then when I go check out the mural, I see a dude taking pictures in front of it. I'm like, oh, is that Shepherd Ferry? Like, so
Wow.
it was like, I was psyched that I saw Shepherd as like being like one of my top favorite artists. So I had, I'm like, I'm starting out, like, I have to talk to this guy and like not tell me what to do, obviously, but like just like his experience as an artist, and like I want to share my art with him too. So I had the chance to like show him my artwork, and like he was blown away by it too, because he, like, what he told me was like, at your age, like, you're better than me when I was your age. Like, that's what he's told me. And I was like,
Wow.
damn, that means a lot coming from him, like, because he's a huge artist. And yeah, we were just talking in the streets for like straight, like an hour or 2 hours in the streets of Chicago, just talking about him, talking about me, like what I want to do. And up to this day, like, sometimes we communicate. And he like, if I ever have something that I want to share with him, I'll share with him. Like, he gives me an opinion, so it's pretty tight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's cool. He's a cool guy. But for sure, that's like one of my top idols in our world. Yeah.
So we're here at the Joe B. Art Center,
Yep.
right in Bridgeport. Chicago has a real rich artistic community. What kind of Chicago artists are you looking at these days?
Oh man, there's a couple. I have a buddy. His name is Joe Renda. He's up and coming too. He's I met him at school, American Academy of Art. But he actually has a show this month with Vertical Gallery. So Joe Renda's one of the artists that I look up here in Chicago. Another one would be for sure Hebrew Brantley. I mean, he's one of the artists that's definitely showing that Chicago has some dope stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And he's putting the Chicago on the map in the art world around the world now. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Joe Renda, Hebrew. I admire his work. There's so many, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's a couple that I've name dropped.
Do you think that community has an effect on the work that you're producing?
Oh, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously for me, when I admire a lot of like street artists here in Chicago. So when I go and like walk around the streets, like I see new murals getting put out. Like that's so inspiring to me. Like just seeing what they're producing and like the new stuff they're coming out with is just dope. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in a good space right now. You got a studio.
Yeah.
You're producing a lot of work. It'd be interesting to know where you think you're headed. You know, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. Where do you sort of picture yourself?
I mean, obviously, I picture myself for sure doing art. Obviously, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do that. Actually, no, I wanted to be a pilot first, but then I transitioned
Really?
to be an artist. Yeah, but 5 years from now, I definitely do art and like just expanding, man. Like obviously, I love Chicago and whatnot, but like obviously, I would love to show like different parts of the U.S. and obviously internationally too. That'd be tight. You know?
Yeah.
And I definitely see like I'm be 28, so in 5 years from now, I feel like I'm definitely gonna do that. You know, I have a bigger studio and you know, do bigger galleries and
everything upgraded.
Yeah, man, like just do whatever I've always wanted to do.
Some of the emotional components of the characters you're drawing. You talked to me a little bit about how some of them represent, you know, maybe frustration or anxiety.
Yeah.
Do you use art in a way to sort of cope with those things?
I definitely use art to cope with everything, man. I mean, for me, my biggest thing was anxiety ever since I was little. And I did notice that art, like, every time I felt anxious or every time I felt like I wasn't in my place, I always went to art, like, always, like, and that calmed me down. And, like, when I was in high school, when I went inpatient and I did all that crap for like what I had or whatever, because I was like depressed and all that stuff, but whatever. But when I went inpatient to like this therapeutic thing or whatnot, they introduced me to kind of like introduced me to art again in a way, because they're like, okay, you draw whatever, like cool, you know, but like all right, use that and like transfer whatever you feel into art. And I was like, oh, I never like thought of that, you know, like I always just did what I saw on TV and just draw it out. And even then, I created this character. The first character that I've ever created was when I was in like therapy or whatever. But I've noticed that it was a little kid. It was like a little kid, and I expressed him like however I felt like I was at that time. And his name was Bobo. I remember I named him Bobo, and I still consider me like a fucking kid, man. Like I'm always doing kid stuff, playing video games and all that. Like I don't want to grow up in a way. Like like obviously when it comes to like serious stuff, I'll be serious. But like even my art, like everything I do is just like I let my kid that's inside me like just out and like just do that with my characters too, like whatever I feel. The fact that the therapy place introduced me to like a more therapeutic method to use my art was life-changing for sure. Yeah.
What has art taught you about dealing with the anxiety? Has it given you some solutions or maybe some answers?
It definitely makes me happy.
Yeah.
You know, like if whatever I'm feeling, like just it's taught me that everything is gonna be chill. Like you know, like because when I paint or when I draw, like it's so soothing. It's so chill. Like whatever I'm thinking or whatever's going on in my life or in the world, you know, like it's just like an escape from everything, and just like I'm this room, like in my studio, and just like that's my own world. I create whatever I want.
So it becomes meditative.
Yeah, for
You're in
sure.
this present situation where you don't have to
Yeah.
focus on the past or the future
Right.
as much. What might you say to others, you know, dealing with anxiety who maybe aren't even artists?
Right.
In terms of finding that sort of practice, that meditative activity.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be an artist to use art as like therapeutic, because like you could simply just like grab paint and just like, you know, splash it on the wall or like a canvas, and like, it just feels good. Just like if you're mad, just like just throw paint everywhere. If you're like feeling like, I don't know, like depressed and you just wanna, or like anxious, sorry, and you just wanna like you know, you just go to the fucking canvas and just like go crazy on it. Like, just feels good. Like, I don't know. And I for sure recommend it, for sure. Like I said, you're just in your own world doing whatever you want, and yeah, you just create it.
In the process of developing as an artist, I imagine mentors might be like an important component. Is that something that's around for you?
For sure. I mean, my mentors for sure would be my parents and my brothers. Those are the four that shaped me to who I am as a, not just as an artist, but as a person, you know. I'm so thankful that they're so supportive of like with what I do, of like I wanted to become an artist, because like I said, like I wanted to be a pilot, and then my whole mentality's changed when I was in high school, like ending school. I'm like, no, you know what, I'm gonna be an artist, and they were so supportive with that, and that was really cool of them, because I know so many people that have parents that definitely would not agree of their child to become an artist, because it's such a scary career, you know. It's understandable that they don't want the kids to become an artist, but I'm so thankful for them. And just like my dad and my mom, they always pushed me to do whatever I want, and like whatever I thought, whatever I needed to say, they always like, just do it, you know, like why not?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, my mentors for sure, my family, no doubt.
There's a lot going on. We got horns and halos and satellite dishes. You feel compelled sometimes to get a lot of ideas on one canvas?
Yeah, like, I mean, the halos and the horn things, it's just like, it's a thing I do with all my characters. It kind of symbolizes kind of like the yin yang type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like good and the evil, or like the angel on one side and the devil on the other.
Yeah.
Like like kind of like what you go through your life is based off those decisions, and how you know, how your life later on happens, I guess.
That's fire.
Yeah.
What do we got going on over here?
So this piece is called Triple Threat. It's just, it's a painting of me and my brothers. So I have two older brothers, and I'm the little one. And yeah, this is kind of like the way I see us, you know? Like, one thing, like my dad always called us, well, in Spanish it's cachorros, which means like cubs, like little cubs, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
So I had to draw this as like little, like dogs. And my favorite one, like, I really like Greek mythology, so I like Cerberus, the triple-headed dog. So I like the fact that we're three brothers, and that's like my favorite character. And also it kind of reflects in a way too, like Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. They knew who was who, which is funny.
They knew.
Yes, and then like yeah, I did this dude like screaming because that's me, because it always bothered me.
Yeah.
And then this dude was like kind of like the badass type of dude, big brother, you know, like he always had like that protection with me and my middle brother.
Yeah.
And then my middle brother was just the dude that like didn't care what anyone said, and just did it what he wanted to do. But yeah, that's what this painting is about, just us.
What kind of obstacles have you faced in your career so far?
Yeah, the obstacles that many artists faces, yeah, for sure, would be like some people, like the people you meet, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously another obstacle would be on being afraid to show your work. That's for sure. A lot of artists have that. Just because they're scared of society, of like people like judging them, you know, like, am I good? Am I not good? And if I'm not good, would they tell me I'm not good? Like, or if I am good, like, are they just saying I'm good just to make me feel better, you know?
Yeah.
Like artists have like that, you know, the judgmental from like of people like thinking of their work, but that's definitely one of the obstacles artists face, I feel like, of not showing their work. And I think they should, like, why not, you know, like, again, like not caring of what people say, just do you and just keep on doing it.
Yeah. How did you sort of come to that place?
Of not caring?
Yeah.
Well, like my parents, they taught me not.
Yeah.
Like whatever you wanted to do, like just do it. Like not care of what people thought, you know. But to be honest, though, actually, I did care before. Like I remember in middle school. In middle school, this sucks for kids, you know. Like that's when like everyone like tries to grow up and whatnot. So I was like really shy kid. But then like, high school came and like I was like, all right, well, screw it. Like I've been doing it when I was little, and then I stopped in middle school. Like why not be myself again, you know? Yeah.
So on the topic of growing up, you had mentioned that you sort of have a tendency towards just feeling like a kid.
Yeah.
And that's what comes out when you make art.
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from? Like why do you get enjoyment out of
not growing up?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, okay, so like the way I see it, I'm in my 20s, so I'm starting to see people like my age, like have a family even, you know, like have their own place and whatnot, and they're all just like so adulty. like they just like want to be adults, and like I see, like the way I see it, I don't see them enjoying life, you know? Like when you're a kid, you're just like running around, smiling, do whatever you want to do, you know, like not caring. And you know, I love that. Like I see that in kids, and just like the joy of them, like just being a kid is I see that, and it's so dope. I don't want to grow up like, like I feel like if I'm like 90 years old, that's if I'm ever 90 years old, like I'll be that grandpa just chilling with my, you know, with my grandchilds, and just like playing around, playing soccer with them, like, you know, like just have that showing that I didn't grow up. Like I'm still a kid, and like I enjoy life, and not caring, man. Like it's so many people just like when I was little, like they wanted to grow up so bad. Like even when you're a kid, right? Like you want to say like, oh yeah, I want to grow up. Like I want to be this and that. But like, do you really want to be this and that? You know?
Yeah.
Like why? Like why? Like that's why I'm so thankful to like. I chose the career of being an artist because I show whatever I feel, whatever I want to do, just like as like a kid would do, you know?
What do the people need to know about you?
People that need to know about me?
What else do you have to get off your chest?
Oh man, cool dude. I don't know, it's just, I mean, art is not the only thing I do, you know? I love, one is playing soccer, you know? I'm not a great skateboarder, but I love cruising, you know? Like, anytime I have a chance, like, cruising is like so free to me, and just being in the streets, just the air is flowing, you know, it's tight. Like, I love doing that. Love playing video games. I'm a normal dude, you know, like do whatever. Like, I'm just never stuck in my studio painting like every day. You know, I do normal things as anyone would do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sergio, man, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all for watching. This is the first episode of The Spotlight by City Life Productions. Make sure you tune in next time. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.